Alrighty guys, welcome back to the Best Investing Money Management channel on YouTube. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the one, the only Costco, ticker symbol COST. We're going to be talking about kind of what's been going on with this company, why we've seen so much sell off from it. Should you buy it? Should you sell it? Kind of what's going on. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys get anything in value out of this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, concerns, make sure you guys ask them down below. So what's been going on with Costco, right? If we actually look at the long-term chart, right, of Costco, you guys will notice that Costco has an absolute beautiful upward trend. Really was doing very, very well, hitting all of their metrics, all of their fundamentals, hitting revenue, hitting all of their targets, right? And then we hit $611. And that was pretty much the turning point for Costco. It hit all-time highs and it went from $611 all the way down to $416 in a matter of a couple months. Now, during this time, obviously, we had a lot of market sell-off. If we compare this just to, the S&P 500, you will notice a very, very similar chart here. It's not as drastic, but overall, it's still very similar, right? We had that solid upward trend, hit that price right around that New Year mark, and then it just started selling off. Costco was pretty much the same thing, right? It hit pretty much, the New Year, and we just had general sell-off, right? So kind of what's been going on with the company? Well, everything on the fundamental side is pretty decent, right? If we look at the previous earnings that they announced, they brought in about $51 billion, which is so much money. That was very good. They beat expectations, and they obviously caused this little price action to go from $511 to $611. That $100 price movement was pretty much because of this earnings and because of the buying pressure behind it. So then we had this drastic sell-off. And the reason why we saw so much sell-off lately is because of other retail companies. If we go ahead and we look at TGT, which is Target absolutely got obliterated, went from about 250 all the way down to 155, which is a drastic move, especially for Target. Looking and zooming out, you guys can see that this is the largest drop that the company has seen in a long time. So what caused it? Well, obviously right now sellers are in control of the general market. Not to mention, we had a bad earnings. They didn't miss it on the revenue, but they missed it on the EPS, causing this stock to get absolutely hammered. Another retail stock that got hit is Walmart. Walmart got obliterated, very similar to all the other retail companies. Went from, 150 all the way to 119. This is another massive move for retail, and kind of why we saw this is because this was a bad earnings, and there was just a lot of sell-off of retail. So just because they announced the bad earnings and other retail companies are getting massive sell-off, there was just a little more emotion involved with this company, because they said, okay, well, Target had a bad earnings, causing the stock to sell off. Now, Walmart had a bad earnings, and another company like Home Depot, ticker symbol HD, got absolutely obliterated. If we look at the chart, you will see massive amounts of sell-off. Go from 418 all the way down to 287, which is a massive move. So why is Costco selling off? It's a very similar situation right now. Right now, we pretty much have the general market selling off and retail getting hammered. Every time retail stores have announced their past earnings, they've gotten obliterated. So we have a sector sell-off, so to speak, where pretty much most stocks in the retail space are just naturally selling off. And does this mean you should buy it? Should you sell it? Well, personally, I think you could come at it with two approaches. The first approach is, okay, right now, Costco is a sinking ship. It's fallen from, 611 all the way to 416, and there is no signs of it stopping, right? There's no consolidation. There's nothing out there, right? The general market selling off, so we have piggyback off that. The second approach you could have is, oh my gosh, Costco sold off from 6.11 all the way down to 4.16. This is almost $200 per share that I could be buying on that discount, right? Buying up some of this, right? Not selling, but buying. So personally, I'm having a little bit more of that approach. I definitely think it's always a lot easier to make money when the trend is in your favor, right? And obviously we have this short-term downward trend. If it was an upward trend, even just a little, it's always going to be easier because you'll have buyers in control. So I definitely think, yes, you can make some money here, but you have to go at it with a long-term approach of like 2 to 5 years at the minimum, because it could be a couple of years before we see this market turn around, right? The average bear market lasts for about 14 months, which is just over, a year. So you have to go at it with that approach of, all right, let's start buying, start dollar cost averaging and picking up some shares, right? Costco brings in a lot of money. They have great earnings. They're not going to be closing their stores anytime soon. They still have, millions of their members. So I definitely think that it's worth having. And personally, this is a stock that I think is an absolute bargain of a deal. But don't go at it with the approach of, all right, I'm just going to buy up 100% of my portfolio with it. Keep Costco under, I would keep it under like 6 to 7% of your portfolio size. So what that means is for every $100 you have invested into other stocks, other assets, put $6 to $7 in this. The reason why I'm saying 6 to 7%, and that's on the high end, is because, okay, if this stock continues to sell off and it sells off down to $200 or $300 and you're continuing buying up shares, your average cost is going to be very, very low, but you're still going to have some sell off in the account. Okay, and if you go at it with that approach, the worst that it's going to happen is you're going to lose 6% of your portfolio if this thing goes to zero, which it won't. On the flip side, if this thing pops back up to 6.11 in the next couple of months, you have shares to make money, right? You have shares you can continue to buy, and it's just a good strategy. Dollar cost average it. You're not going to regret it. In Costco, yes, there's going to be volatility just because of the sector we're in and because of the market selling off. And I would love to see Costco's next earnings to see kind of what happens with it there. But guys, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe. We will see you guys later. Remember to stay happy, stay positive, and stay safe out there. We'll see you later. Take care.